Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What the fuck is up?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Tell everyone, hello, chat. Hope you're having a good Thursday.
Yeah, weird, huh?
It's bizarre. I'm sure I switched off a night here or there, but I'm hosting on a Thursday. It's so weird.
Welcome to Thursday.
Welcome to Thursday. Hope everyone's doing well. I know in many parts of the country right now for several days, and more so now, I guess, there is a winter has finally struck in many places. So I hope everyone is at least warm. But other than that, boy, have I got stuff to talk about today. We'll talk about that later. Satsu, how are you?
Pretty good. I got some work done today because I remembered that I had access to something that would help me get work done significantly easier that I found years ago, but forgot was a thing. So yeah, that was nice. I got a ton of work done. I hung out with the little one, and she was being adorable today. Just
let's do tell.
Straight up adorable. Like she was watching Bubble Guppies, and every song she dances. Every single song, and she'll get up and stop what she's doing. But that last song, she was just like, "Oh god damn it!" I just can't do it. So she came over and laid her head down on my leg, and gave me the "it's nap time" eyes. So I just picked her up and I laid her on me, and I'm like, "She's not going to stay here for any amount of time." Nope, she fell asleep, and then I passed out. And I was just like, "Oh, that was nice." And then me and Squishy exchanged the Valentine's Day gifts today because we won't be able to really do it at an efficient time on Valentine's Day. So that was nice. It was just a nice day, man. I hung out with my family pretty much all day and still got work done. It was awesome.
No, that's great. I'm all alone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, okay, sir. It was just workday, but it was relatively uneventful. So I was able to, quote unquote, leave work early, as in log out a couple hours early and not have to pay attention to it necessarily unless something came up. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm just here where I am. But other than that, did a TED Excellence, which I'll talk about later. And the big mystery for me right now is based on scheduling and everything, whether or not I'm going to be able to hang out with my sister this weekend, because we plan to, but there are factors that may throw a wrench in that. But next weekend, I will be gone for at least the day. I don't know if I'll miss the show on Saturday next week, because we're going to go visit our parents. And so more likely than not, I've made it part of the plan that I get back home in time for the show.
Okay.
So more likely than not, it shouldn't be a problem. But, if a certain time threshold is met, Satsu may end up hosting the show and I'll show up late. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people in Lawton. Hello, Kyle. So just a programming note for next weekend. But other than that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you have not already. And most of you haven't, because I don't know. Why would you? Like the show? You don't like the show? I don't know. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, sideways, and otherwise. Said it before. Say it again. YouTube does a very poor job of letting people know that content creators, especially smaller creators, exist. So if there is a content creator that you appreciate, whether it's us or somebody else, please be sure to tweet out their stuff, or Facebook it, or Instagram it, or LimeWire it, or Napster, or AOL, or MySpace, or Friendster, or MyJournal, whatever the kids are using these days. Let people know that it exists, because you guys are our best algorithm. Anything else before we get into the schnews?
Nah, bruh.
All right. Well, I woke up this morning, as I am wont to do, as I'm brushing my teeth and getting myself ready for my day of walking into the next room and sitting at my desk. Turn on the radio, because I'm an old fogey like that. And the story that welcomed my ears this morning was this terrible thing. Now, I have spoken on many a video regarding immigration and such, that one of the things that I mean, irritates me is an understatement, but one of the things that I guess I'm scared of, and is not uncommon at all, is the risks people take in trying to get to this country, putting their lives and their livelihoods, but mostly their lives on the line to try to cross the border. We have seen countless stories of people dying by trying to cross the Rio Grande. And a year ago, or maybe it's 2 years ago now, and it probably wasn't the first time, there was a story about several illegal immigrants who had been stuffed into a tractor trailer and had been left in a Walmart parking lot, where many of them suffocated to death because they were just abandoned there, because the people that brought them across either got scared or just decided to leg it. And if I remember correctly, several of them died. Well, it's possibly happening again right now, because this is the story as it's been all day. I haven't seen an update. My fingers are crossed this is some kind of prank. But anyway, heartbreaking 911 calls prompt search for tanker truck that may be carrying 80 trapped migrants. A heartbreaking 911 call from a man who said he and approximately 80 other migrants were trapped in the back of a tanker truck and struggling to breathe has prompted a massive search in the San Antonio, Texas area, the Bexar County Sheriff told CBS News on Wednesday. At approximately 10 p.m. on February 8th, the man called 911 and told the dispatcher that he and other undocumented migrants were trapped, according to a recording of the call obtained by CBS News. "We need help," the caller said in Spanish. Others could be heard yelling, crying, and breathing heavily throughout the nearly 4-minute call. "We are dying," the man said, as others could be heard begging for help. "We don't have any oxygen, or any more oxygen," he added. "How many people are there?" the dispatcher asked soon after. 80 people, the man replied. The dispatcher, sounding surprised, asked again, "How many? 80? But the call ended moments later. Dispatchers received another call soon after. The caller told the dispatcher that he and the other migrants were still trapped in the truck and did not know where they were. Quote, "We don't see anything. We are inside of a tanker," the man said, adding that he believed the truck was parked on the side of the road, quote, "because cars are driving by," unquote. Quote, "You're literally hearing people that believe they're moments away from death," Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar told CBS News. Salazar said the calls were, quote, "heartbreaking," and left the 911 dispatchers, quote, "visibly shaken." Local and federal agencies, including Immigration and Customs Enforcement, are investigating the calls. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office has released surveillance footage of what it says may be the truck in question, but Salazar noted the difficulty of locating a specific white tanker truck in or around a large city with several major highways. Quote, "There's always hope," Salazar said when asked if the migrants could still be alive 2 days after making the call. Quote, "I can't even imagine what they went through," he added, expressing his concern that the truck driver may have abandoned the vehicle once they realized the severity of the situation. Quote, "I don't even want to imagine what would happen if this guy or people park this trailer, walk away from it, and leave it. These people are trapped, and God knows what's going to happen to them at that point." When asked if he thought the calls could be a hoax, Salazar said he'd bet, quote, "the rest of my paychecks for the rest of my life on that this is not a hoax," unquote. Quote, "That was very real, what we were hearing," he said. Salazar noted that thousands of people are the victims of human smuggling every day, and said the 911 calls provide a, quote, "very grim reminder of exactly what these folks are confronted with."
See, and that's the shit that pisses me off, because we're constantly hearing narratives that anybody who says that this type of stuff is happening are just xenophobic and making shit up because they hate immigrants or whatever, and they just don't want outside people here. I'm like, no, this shit is real. It's a real thing happening to real people, and you pretending that it's not happening because you just want everybody to frolic over the border with no type of, whatever. You're doing a disservice to this exact situation right here.
Well, the thing that, and I said this on Twitter, with the immigration policy being floated right now in Congress, and the potential loopholes therein. I mean, admittedly, the legislation is not finalized yet. It has not been passed into law. The likelihood that it will be passed into law is questionable. But regardless, when the rhetoric makes it sound like if you can get yourself here in this time frame, you will have the opportunity to claim a path to citizenship or residency.
Mm-hmm.
You're only encouraging and incentivizing people to put their lives at risk, and for people who would exploit such people to continue exploiting such people and putting their lives at risk.
Yeah.
And this situation, unfortunately, is not unique. We've seen this before. This just happens to be one of the more horrifying and probably overly tragic situations. Because if that call is real, and it's been 2 days since 80 people inside of a tanker have been gasping for air, the possibility that after 48 hours or more, you're going to find most, if any, of those people alive, if you do find them, is pretty much slim at best. And every minute that goes by is even worse. So, this is one of the pitfalls of having a system or having rhetoric that dangles the possibility of free citizenship or amnesty or anything else that may or may not actually ever come to people who are desperate and people who will take advantage of the desperate. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone trapped in a tanker. Again, the photos from about 2 years ago now of like a father and a daughter, I think it was, drowned at the edge of the Rio Grande because they tried to cross by foot through the river. It's ridiculous. And this is a horrifying story. It made me just like, yeah. Anyway, so whenever...
I thought you were about to continue with the story.
Real quick. Thank you, tall person. Hoy just got home from work and we'll watch in full later. Happy White Shirt Day. I bet the bleach companies are very happy right now. But like Satsu said, if anybody starts talking about stories like this as just fear tactics or xenophobia or anti-immigration or anything like that, it's not nonsense. It's not a zero chance possibility that stuff like this happens. It happens all the time.
Yeah, and considering the big topic of the day is, being liable for facilitating a situation where horrible things can happen, I wouldn't say it's off base to include this as a part of the conversation. If Biden's saying, "Hey, swing the doors open, everybody get over here as quickly as you can," and they're fucking breaking their necks and piling themselves in trucks to do so, then sounds like there's a conversation to be had there.
All right. Well, that was my sort of horrific story of the day there. So let's move on to something else, just for the heck of it. Let's see if I can get this going there. All right. I almost have this down now where I can show this stuff and retire in Costa Rica. Yeah, no, thanks. Biden declares there will be enough vaccines for 300 million Americans by the end of July. The U.S. population being something like 360 million people or something like that.
Yeah.
That last check that I know of. President Joe Biden on Thursday announced that the United States will have enough coronavirus vaccines for 300 million Americans by the end of July, underscoring that he believes his administration has made significant progress, given that there wasn't a rollout plan in place under the Trump administration.
So,
except that there was a plan. Fauci said there was a plan. Other people said there was a plan, and 20 million or near on, 16 million? 16 million some odd doses had been distributed before Trump left office.
Yeah, man, I wonder how Fauci feels every time he hears Biden said, like, he's working directly with him, obviously, to get this stuff done. But I wonder every time Biden opens his mouth, he's like, that motherfucker wasn't doing shit. I had to come in and do everything. I wonder if he's just like, you motherfucker.
We read that article where Fauci refutes the very notion that there wasn't a plan.
Yeah.
But yet, no, this is apparently the new reality. Quote, within 3 weeks, round the clock work with so many people standing behind me and in front of me, we've now purchased enough vaccine supply to vaccinate all Americans. And now we're working to get those vaccines into the arms of millions of people. Don't they all have a shelf life of like a week or two?
You're asking irrelevant questions.
Okay. Biden said, unless he's buying on spec, I guess. If he's paid for them, I don't know. Biden said during his speech at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, Biden used the NIH appearance to announce that the timeline for the previously announced vaccine purchases had been moved up. Moderna and Pfizer will deliver a total of 200 million coronavirus vaccine doses by the end of July, rather than the end of summer, he said. Okay.
Oh.
I wasn't aware what the timeline was in the first place, so maybe that's an improvement.
Sure, that's a good question. He said, "Where's CNN's fact check on this?"
Oh well, they only fact check certain individuals at CNN. The companies will also deliver 100 million expected doses by the end of May rather than the end of June. Okay. The president, echoing claims made by other administration officials since the start of his tenure in office, asserted that the Trump administration, quote, did not have a plan, unquote, for vaccine distribution.
You got to mention that Fauci refuted it?
Quote, while scientists did their job in discovering vaccines in record time, that's not how,
wait a minute. Trump literally said that's what they were doing. Remember when Trump said, yeah, I've talked to the scientists. They're working on it. They're trying to fix this thing. They're going to get it done in record time. And they said, you're a liar, Trump. They can't do that.
Yeah, we heard that over and over again during the fall.
Yeah, but now they just did their jobs.
Okay. While scientists did their job in discovering vaccines in record time, my predecessor, I'll be very blunt about it, did not do his job in getting ready for the massive challenge of vaccinating hundreds of millions of Americans. Well, given the fact that the vaccines were only released after the election in November, and he was only going to be in office for another 2 months, did he have time to do so?
Yeah. Still not ignoring the fact that you guys said they literally couldn't exist until now. Like according to your timeline, they still shouldn't exist. We still should not even have vaccines right now. Yeah, according to your timeline.
And didn't they get out like before the end? I mean, wasn't it? I mean, they didn't hit the 20 million goal. They said it wasn't like 16 million doses.
I think so.
How did those get to people's arms if there wasn't some kind of distribution plan?
They just fucking fell out of the boxes and just landed into people. There was no plan. They threw them up in the air and hoped they dropped on people.
He didn't order enough vaccines. He didn't mobilize enough people to administer the shots. He didn't set up the federal vaccine centers where eligible people can go to get their shots, Biden said. When I became president 3 weeks ago, America had no plan to vaccinate most of the country. It was a big mess, unquote. In the waning days of the Trump administration, officials announced they would be releasing reserved coronavirus vaccine doses that they had saved for second doses of the vaccine. However, shortly after the announcement, it became clear many of those reserves had already been released last year as production was ramping up. How could they be released if there was no plan?
How? And it's just like, you would think like common sense dictates that that's ridiculous. Like it can't, there's no way that you could say that there was no plan at all. Nothing was done.
Especially after Fauci said he said it very bluntly. He said, we had a plan. It's not that we had no plan. He was quoted in that same article we read a couple weeks back. Like, okay, you know what? Oh, like I say, maybe it wasn't a good plan. Maybe it wasn't a complete plan. I don't know. But to say there was zero, no plan, nothing goes against just the reality of the situation. And at a certain point, there's going to come a certain point where that excuse is not going to fly if things end up getting delayed or screwed up because you're at the helm now. So if you're trying to make excuses for any delays by throwing it on Trump because there quote unquote was no plan when there was at least a plan, maybe you didn't agree with the plan. Maybe you thought the plan was lousy. Okay. But saying that there was no plan over and over again when your own people are contradicting you, just you wanted the job, do the job, dude. Okay. Anyway, I guess we can't really avoid the impeachment process. So I thought we would take a look at what CNN says. What is incitement and what does it mean for Trump's impeachment defense?
Are they going to take the definition of incitement, tell us what it is, and then explain to us how we should understand it? Because that's what I feel like is going to happen here.
Well, I forget. I tweeted out about this because some reporter said, the speeches from the Democratic side were very emotional about the fear of the day and everything else. But more likely than not, Trump will not be convicted. And I just said, because as sincere as their recollections of the day might be, and I don't doubt that they are, and as terrible as the events were that day, it has nothing to do with whether or not Trump is guilty of incitement. The fact that people did something terrible, the terribleness of what they did is on their shoulders. The question is, legally, or at least rhetorically, did Trump commit incitement? And it's going to be a tough haul when you say 20 words or 20 variations of the word fight in a 10,000 word speech. When the word fight, anyway, Let's see what they have to say. What is incitement, and what does it mean for Trump's impeachment defense? Now, the defense, I guess, starts tomorrow. And they say they will be done within the day, and there might be a decision, there might be a verdict this weekend. That's what I heard earlier today. I don't know if that's going to be the timeline, but that's a potential timeline. So this might be over before the weekend's out. The allegation of incitement is central to the impeachment case House Democrats are making against former President Donald Trump because it ties his words and actions to the January 6th insurrection on Capitol Hill. The article of impeachment passed by the House in January reads, in part, quote, Donald John Trump engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors by inciting violence against the government of the United States, unquote. Read the whole thing here. House impeachment managers have devoted most of their presentation this week to the results, airing graphic video footage and audio from the attack on the Capitol, which put members of the Senate who will vote on the charges personally at risk. Their argument is that Trump was responsible for what happened, even though he did not join the mob that marched from his January 6th rally near the White House to the U.S. Capitol, where electoral votes were being tallied to seal Joe Biden's victory. Except that they marched before the rally started, before the speech started, and they had been planning it for weeks in advance. But are we going to talk about that? I don't know. Yep. Here's what they said, quote, he had incited the attack. The insurgents were following his commands, unquote, said Texas Democratic Representative Julian Castro. Mm-hmm. Quote, he directed all of the rage that he had incited to January 6th. That was his last chance to stop the peaceful transition of power, unquote, said Representative Eric Swalwell of California. He later added, quote, this was not just any old protest. President Trump was inciting something historic, unquote. Quote, this was deliberate, said Virgin Islands delegate Stephanie Plaskett. Quote, and because the president of the United States incited this, because he was orchestrating this, because he was inviting them, the insurgents were not shy about their planning, unquote. Okay. Trump's defenders, namely Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, have argued that Trump can't be held accountable because the people who made up the mob are, quote, entitled to be idiots, unquote, and Trump was just whipping up the crowd, which is what politicians do. Quote,
yeah, name me one that doesn't. I'd like to see one politician that doesn't rally up their base by saying either ridiculous or just kind of fucking really questionable shit.
Just as an aside, just because I caught out of the corner of my eye, Corwin D says, Scribe Light B Monkey is gone. Scribe Light B Monkey is gone? Okay. The Lords live. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the entertainment. Well, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be entertaining as I'm reading the news, which is not always entertaining. Let's see. The president's language at times is a little overheated, Cruz told Sean Hannity on Fox News. But if you look at the language he used, saying things like fight, saying things like go retake our country, if that is now incitement, then we better prepare a long line to indict every candidate for office, anyone who's ever run, unquote.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, this is CNN talking now. We should note here, who wrote this? Zachary B. Wolf. Are you a royalty? Okay, we should note here that Cruz, in the days before the January 6th riot, was himself egging on election skeptics to fight against the counting of electoral votes and promising them, quote, we will win, unquote.
What?
Oh, wow. Are we supposed to indict Ted Cruz next?
Yeah. Why was that relevant information?
Are you trying to say that Cruz is trying to set up his own defense for being impeached himself? Is that what you're doing? He also lodged the first of two Republican objections to the counting of the votes, challenging Arizona's results, which he is legally entitled to do, at around the same time the first wave of rioters reached the Capitol grounds. So Cruz,
he incited that too.
So Cruz has a personal interest in Trump's words not being incitement.
Uh-huh. Isn't it crazy? We can literally just watch the media weave the narrative right in front of us. Like we can watch them weave it right in our face.
Wasn't Cruz in the Capitol building at the time of the riot?
Yeah, I think
so. Well, I just want to double check. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know everybody that was there, but of course neither does AOC apparently. But if he was, so he was inciting violence upon himself. That was his plan. That was part of his orchestration. Cruz also pointed out Trump told the festering mob to be peaceful, which he did once, as opposed to the 20 times he told the crowd to fight, according to the impeachment managers. Yeah.
they're twisting the narrative because they didn't say he said fight 20 times. They said he used variations of the word fight 20 times. But once again, like I said, we can see the media weaving the narrative every time they write it because it started off as one thing. And they're just like, we're gonna tease him with this one and say that, hey, he used variations of it. Now everybody's chanting that he said 20, so it's okay for us to just say he said it 20 times now.
I hate getting into the weeds in this. It's all so stupid. Okay.
It is. It's so dumb.
The dictionary definition of incite, according to Merriam-Webster, is simple. Quote, to move to action, stir up, spur on, urge on, unquote. Yeah, unfortunately for you, the dictionary definition is not the legal standard. Yes, and then, okay, but there's a more detailed definition in U.S. law. Yes, because it's two different things. Incitement, just as a word, as an adjective, is just one thing. But as a legal term is something different. Okay, the term to incite riot or to organize, promote, encourage, participate in, or carry on a riot includes, but is not limited to, urging or instigating other persons to riot, but shall not be deemed to mean the mere oral or written, quote, advocacy of ideas or to expression of belief, not involving advocacy of any act or acts of violence or assertion of the rightness of or the right to commit any such act or acts, unquote. So, where in Trump's speech did he tell people to attack the Capitol, to threaten the lives of senators?
Yeah, because like we said, we have no mention. There is literally no evidence of him saying or using those words in any variation at all. But we have tons of evidence of Democrats over the course of maybe 2 to 3 years now.
Federal court said Trump did not incite a mob back in 2016 when he told supporters to turn on protesters who later sued the president. The New York Times has a thorough examination of how courts have looked upon incitement. Read that here. Okay, so Oliver Wendell Holmes, the First Amendment protecting Supreme Court justice who pushed the idea that a person can't shout fire in a crowded theater, built the, quote, clear and present danger, unquote, test for speech. He argued Congress could only regulate speech when it presented a, quote, present danger of immediate evil or an intent to bring it about, unquote. Mm-hmm. These words were written in the World War I era when Congress and President Woodrow Wilson actively limited what Americans could say against the government and war effort. More recently, the Supreme Court has protected all sorts of speech like flag burning, crude political hyperbole, and importantly in this instance is Brandenburg v. Ohio, which allows advocating a crime as long as it doesn't incite imminent lawlessness. Trump's legal team repeatedly cited that case in a legal brief laying out their free speech-focused defense. I know I have had it recited to me, the Brandenburg v. Ohio case, the details thereof, and I would try to recite them now for everyone's reference, but I know I'm going to get them wrong, so look it up. But basically, if I remember correctly, a guy was talking sort of abstractly about bringing war or harm to people, but he's doing so at some kind of rally or something. I think it was a KKK guy. Don't quote me on that. I might be getting my cases mixed up. But either way, the fact that he was talking in the abstract was not talking about an immediate time for it to happen, that he wasn't directing anyone to do anything specific, was talking in sort of like broad terms. It didn't constitute an actual incitement to action. Even though he was talking about violence, he was talking about other things. So unless you can beat that standard where Donald Trump didn't bring up any kind of violence, and if you want to say the word fight in a political rally equates to literal violence upon people, that's going to be a tough row to hoe there.
Well, okay, and if they do say that, they're like, okay, we're going to decide now that the word fight automatically means violence if we decide that it says so. I would love to see how all these people who have used the term for their own rallies and stuff are going to defend themselves against this, because I guarantee their argument's going to be, well, I didn't mean fight literally, obviously. And you don't get to use that defense.
Yeah. But impeachment is not a criminal or civil case. It is a political one. Yes. And the impeachment managers are arguing high crimes and misdemeanors, which are different than a regular court case. Yes, this is an extrajudicial process. It has nothing to do with criminal law, technically, except that they have used the term incitement, which has a legal definition. So again, it's relatively nebulous. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Why isn't Maxine Waters impeached for inciting violence? That's a good question. given the standard that they're trying to put here, she meets the criteria far more readily than anything Trump said in his speech that day, but we haven't heard anything about that yet. Okay, to the bottom of this. Did Trump encourage people who turned into a mob to march on the Capitol? Indisputably. Yeah, march on the Capitol. Did he tell them to, quote unquote, fight? Yes. Is that inciting a mob against democracy? We shall see when it comes time for the Senate to vote.
You know, they know the answer. They know the answer. They're just hoping. They're just hoping that it turns out to be. And it'll be the worst thing to happen to them if it does, because nobody likes to use the word fight more than the left and left activists.
Well, either way, like we said before, if he gets convicted, which is not impossible. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I don't have a dog in this fight particularly. The worst that happens to Donald Trump is he can't run for president again or public office. On that score, I don't really care. On the score of they're setting a new standard for what politicians can and cannot say, which will constitute impeachment or some other criminal action. They're setting themselves up for a fall because, like Chicago Mike said, if this passes, then Maxine Waters certainly qualifies for impeachment on the basis of incitement. And any political rally that ever gets quote unquote heated or passionate could essentially qualify as well. Yep. So they're doing themselves as politicians a disservice. And honestly, the fact that John Roberts is not presiding over this, and I realize that John Roberts doesn't have any necessarily any decision power if he were to preside over this, he just kind of oversees it, is interesting to me. Because given the fact that we're talking about first off, the Chief Justice is supposed to oversee the proceedings, and he's not. He elected not to, which doesn't make any sense. But since the question does come down to one of the First Amendment, I know I'd feel more comfortable at least having the Supreme Justice, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court overseeing a question like this, because even if he doesn't have any power over the decision, having him there, someone who has, over the course of several years now, defended speech that by any rights of any reasonable person would be said to be disgusting or otherwise, but is still protected, would make more sense to me. Anyway, let's see. Do I have anything else that really want to bring up? Because we are a couple minutes in. But then, we've been a little loosey-goosey with the schedule. Let's talk about this because this has been all over the internet today, all over Twitter and otherwise. Lucasfilm fires the Mandalorian star Gina Carano after offensive social media posts. Willett Forge, do you think they're hoping against hope to actually get a conviction in the Senate to use that in actual criminal charges? I don't know. Whether he's impeached or not, it doesn't have any effect on whether or not he can be brought up on criminal charges. They're separate. So they, if someone wanted to bring criminal charges to him as a citizen now rather than as a president, they certainly could or attempt to. Certainly, if they had a impeachment conviction on him that just effectively prevents him from running for office again, that would help maybe bolster their case rhetorically in the court of law, even though an impeachment is not a criminal conviction. That's the thing. I mean, they could bring it up maybe, but I would be surprised if a judge said it's, immaterial and inflammatory. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Who knows how the cookie's going to crumble in the next couple of days, but we may find out by the end of the weekend. So anyway, Gina Carano. Gina Carano, who starred as the unassailable warrior Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, won't appear in any future Star Wars projects after she shared offensive social media posts, including one that compared Nazi Germany to the current political landscape. All right, first and foremost, just to clear the air on my own opinion on this, anytime you retreat to comparing anything to the Holocaust in the modern day or otherwise, you're already losing the argument because Godwin's law, okay? And if that's the standard by which that someone should be fired from Disney or otherwise, well, the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal, tweeted out a photo of concentration camp, Jews in a concentration camp to describe the current political situation a couple months back.
Yeah.
So if that's the only standard by which someone should be fired, well, then Pedro Pascal should be in trouble as well. However, as ill-advised a tweet as Pedro Pascal made, as ill-advised a tweet or Instagram or whatever as Gina Carano made, that's all it is. People compare other people these days to Hitler, the Holocaust, the Nazis, every single day. It has almost lost all meaning at this point. And at the same, regardless, it's free speech. It's their right to say or express themselves however they want. I might not agree with the framing of it, but that's beside the point. Now, a company can do whatever they want. It's true. It's true. But if Disney and Lucasfilm standard is she compared the United States to Nazi Germany, they're going to have to start firing a whole lot of people from their company. So just saying, I mean, this is the bed that they've made today. Quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said in a statement to Variety. Now, the spokesperson has not been named. There are some conspiracy theories about why that might be. I'll get to those presently. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable, unquote. That's not what she was doing. So she was making a very, like I say, ill-advised in its framing, however, argument that, people are being attacked or people are being goaded into attacking or vilifying other people on the basis of their political beliefs without official governmental action, which she was comparing to the process by which the Jews were vilified by the public first in order to get them on side when the government eventually acted. Mm-hmm. That was her roundabout comparison. Now, there are arguments to be made about whether or not her description in the abstract might be correct. The example she used in the most extreme was not well advised, but that's beside the point here because they're misconstruing her point. The posts invoked Nazi Germany and made fun of masks. One of Carano's posts, which she appeared to repost from another account, referenced the Holocaust, during which an estimated 6 million Jewish people were murdered, and how the conditions then were similar to contemporary political divides. Quote, how is that any different from hating someone for their political views, unquote, part of the post read, according to Variety. You're not going to give us the full tweet?
Nope.
Of course not. Okay. She later deleted that story and another that appeared to poke fun at mask wearing with an image of a person whose entire head was covered with masks, captioned, quote, meanwhile in California, unquote. Oh, how terrible. Yeah, she didn't delete every story she shared Wednesday, including one that repeated the conspiracy that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein didn't die by suicide. Oh, no.
Which is also apparently a crime.
Yeah, a meme that has been going on for a year now. Oh, no. Carano courted controversy in fall of 2020 when she refused fans' requests to put her pronouns in her Twitter bio as a show of support for transgender people. Instead, she wrote beep, bop, boop in her bio, which to fans appeared to mock trans people. Quote, beep, bop, boop has zero to do with mocking trans people, heart emoji and 100% emoji, to do with exposing the bullying mentality of the mob that has taken over the voices of many genuine causes, unquote. She wrote in September with a gif of R2-D2. I want people to know you can take hate with a smile, so boop you for misunderstanding, unquote. Her character's future is unknown. Okay, so I've heard several different theories on what was happening here. Apparently, and now I need to preface all of this with this is rumor, as far as I've heard from several different places now. So just take that as it will. From what I heard, today was scheduled a Lucasfilm investor call where the investors are going to call in to find out the state of the company and that kind of stuff. And there is a theory that this information was leaked about her upcoming firing before it actually officially happened, in order to have the reverse effect in the sense that it would rile up people to express their disdain for the decision, to influence the investors, to make Lucasfilm reverse such a decision if it were about to be announced. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. Whether or not Gina Carano would want to come work for that company again if this was in the making, I don't know. But it's been all over the place today, and everybody's been doing hashtag cancel Disney Plus or unsubscribe Disney Plus or whatever else. So the possibility that the investors may be getting shaky, that the fan base is suddenly now turned against them, I don't know. It's all inside baseball, entertainment politics. It really has nothing to do with anything than any other situation where you have somebody who's being lined up for termination from their job because of tweets, like James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, who eventually got his job back when Disney saw the error of their ways and like, this guy's on a profit motive, the guy's a golden goose because he makes movies that people love seeing. And also the tweets were from a million years ago and are so distant from anything he's been doing now. It's like, why would you do that? So what will be the end point of this? I don't know. But I saw a whole bunch of very, very loyal Star Wars fans saying they were through with Lucasfilm. They're going to unsubscribe from Disney Plus. There was a video I saw where they were like, I called Disney Plus directly to unsubscribe, and when they asked me why, I told them very politely, it's because you guys are firing Gina Carano, etc. And he gave instructions like, if you want to unsubscribe from Disney Plus, call them, and when they ask you why, because they will, tell them your complaint. It may have an effect, but either way, they're like, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that song before, so. Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, for the dancing dog cat fox. Happy dog cat fox. And thank you, Bacala Driving 8-Man. Going back better be for no less than Charlie Sheen. What?
I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead.
What was interesting about this story is the fact that they, basically flat out said that a mob came after her and demanded that she do this and came at her about her complaints and her statements and stuff that she done said and did. And the internet just kind of came down on her, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much you want to bet 95% of the group of people who demanded that she do this and came and tried to get her canceled and went after her or whatever are the same people who still think that Gamergate was a fucking hate campaign against women?
Yeah.
I'm just like, you literally, if we're going by comparison's sake, and I hate to even bring up Gamergate or whatever, you literally did the exact same thing that all the people who you claim were fucking women-hating, mobs coming after these women, you did the exact same thing to this person. And you still invoke Gamergate to this day, claiming that, it had nothing to do. So why would we believe that this had anything to do with her conduct or the shit that she said? Why can't we just look at this and be like, oh, well, this is just a hate campaign against a woman. You guys are just ganging up to attack a woman for no reason.
Well, the other conspiracy theory, again, rumor, is that her tweets are being used as the excuse to fire her because she defies the image of a strong female character that the strong female executives at Lucasfilm want on their shows, except that The Mandalorian is not controlled by Kathleen Kennedy. It's controlled by Jon Favreau. And so The Mandalorian doing so well, both with bringing back Luke Skywalker and having a strong female character whose real life actress goes against the grain of the social justice imperatives, that's all bad for their initiatives in the company. And so this is all one big sort of political move to weaken the Mandalorian's popularity, get back at Favreau, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's one of those cut off your nose to spite your face kind of moves, if that's true, because it's like you have a popular franchise. You have the toy for her character is the best-selling Star Wars toy, like aside from Baby Yoda. I think they said in the last 2 or 3 years at all, because merchandise was not selling at all for the sequel movies.
Right.
That was one of the big things, is that the sequel movies were not moving any Star Wars merchandise. And when it comes to profit, Star Wars has always profited most on its merchandise. So the fact that her character was so popular that it was actually moving merchandise, her being kicked off of the show has implications far beyond just that as far as their profit motive is concerned. Thank you, Bacalo, again. Charlie Sheen amount of money. What is Charlie Sheen amount of money? Does he actually get much anymore? Is he in demand?
I wouldn't know.
Ebony Williams, thank you so much. We all know money talks, and Lucasfilm will soon say that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The interesting thing is, and many people brought this up, there has not been an actual official announcement from Lucasfilm. It's been this unnamed Lucasfilm spokesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still the rumor that this is just sort of gossip slash whatever being floated out there to try to manipulate or to test the waters and so on. So who knows? But after all the hubbub, again, I'd have to wonder, would she want to go back working for a company that was going to try to throw her under the bus? I don't know. But again, that was the big news of the day. Thank you, Dark Resurrect. Disney, we want a strong, independent woman. Also Disney. She didn't follow the groupthink. Exile her. That is a theory. Again, I do not know. I have heard from, Star Wars fans who love the sequels and Star Wars fans who are old school Lucas saying different things. I don't know. I just find it interesting because I still have a ephemeral love for the old school Star Wars, and I couldn't avoid looking at this all day with all the tweets and all the videos and such. So there you go. And with that, we're going to move on to the wonderful world of MSS News. So if you have news stories you would like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise to get to them all. That's because I apparently had to burp. So let's see. What's the latest and greatest here? This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Minimize the window here so I still keep an eye on things. Let's see. I'm going to try. It'll take me a second, but I'm going to try to display these as well, if you'll forgive me the momentary delay, so that we can keep up together as a team. Man wanted for allegedly stealing engagement ring from girlfriend to propose to another woman.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Ebony Williams. I meant to say they will soon see that. My brain's on weekend time while I'm at work. No worries. Thank you, Ebony. We all know money talks, and Lucasfilm will soon see that. Yes. Well, I mean, I guess it depends because Lucasfilm has to have known, well, obviously knows, the amount of love they lost with The Last Jedi and with The Rise of Skywalker, with the diminishing returns on box office from both, the fan backlash ever since then, the lack of toy sales, the consternation amongst the real fan base, the fan base that actually spends its money on the property. So if this happens and it throws another torpedo into fan loyalty to the franchise, that is a major concern because every move they make that upsets the fan base doesn't bring in more money. As much as people say, oh, she should be kicked out and everything else, the people complaining about Gina Carano don't buy toys.
Nope.
They don't spend the money outside of anything else. They're probably not even watching The Mandalorian out of protest or something because it's not Kathleen Kennedy. Either way, they're going to continue to lose market share. And Disney stock, Lucasfilm stock, is possibly going to go down as a result. And the investors are going to get twitchy because the investors, when they bought into Lucasfilm and Disney, they thought, Star Wars, easy bet. And yet time and time again, Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy has completely screwed the pooch in box office returns, in merchandise sales, in fan loyalty, and on and on and on. So it's going to be interesting to see, A, does she officially get fired? Does it actually happen? And then how do the fans react if she's not? Do they come back? How do they explain it? And on and on and on. They got a major PR problem right now, more so than before, because just as people are like, okay, The Mandalorian's kind of bringing me back, and then they do this, like, okay. Anyway, Officer Buck, thanks so much. The High Republic is hot garbage too. Oh yeah, the High Republic. Oh God. Like I said before, if you guys want some ancient Star Wars Jedi stories that are actually pretty good, and at least try to adhere to the old school stuff, look up Tales of the Jedi from Dark Horse Comics. If you can find those collections still, they're probably called Legends now, but they're certainly way better than this stuff. And even Knights of the Old Republic, the comic book series, not my favorite necessarily, but still better than this High Republic stuff. Anyway, on to this Two-timer. A man with a tattoo that reads, "Only God can judge me," on his left arm is wanted for stealing an engagement ring and wedding band from his girlfriend to propose to another woman, Volusia County deputies said. Deputies said Joseph Davis, 48, used fake names, Joe Brown and Marcus Brown, on the dating app OkCupid when he met both women in 2015 and 2016. Okay. Investigators said his girlfriend in Orange City discovered her boyfriend was actually engaged to another woman in Orlando. She told deputies that when she looked up the other woman on Facebook, she realized she was wearing a wedding band and engagement ring that was identical to her own from a prior marriage. Oh, it wasn't even a ring that he bought. Oh, that's bullshit. That's even more bullshit. When the woman checked her jewelry box, deputies said she noticed that both rings, as well as several jewelry pieces, were missing. Deputies said the woman contacted her boyfriend's fiancé and got some of her belongings back. After both relationships ended due to the infidelity, deputies said both women began cooperating with each other and with detectives. What's that phrase about a woman scorned, hell hath no fury? The Orlando fiancé told deputies Brown had fooled her too, even taking her to the Orange City girlfriend's house while she was at work, claiming the house was his and asking her to move in with him.
What the fuck?
What the hell is this guy's problem?
Oh my God.
Deputies said the woman told detectives she packed up her apartment, disassembled her furniture, and was ready to move until one day he told her the deal had fallen through. Okay, if this guy isn't, besides the relationship stuff, also a career con man, I'm going to be amazed. Wow. The fiancé also reported a laptop and jewelry were missing from her apartment after Brown moved out and disappeared. Deputies said neither woman knew the man's real name. So you both got into a relationship to the point where, what? Okay, I mean, a liar's a liar, but I'm at the same time, I was like, you never knew the real. But they were able to track him down through the address one woman had been given of a niece he supposedly had in North Carolina. Deputies said when they contacted the woman who lived at the address, it turned out to be the man's sister. Okay, so the one time he tells kind of the truth is his undoing. Okay. Deputies said the man, identified as Joseph Davis, had a record as a convicted felon in Oregon and North Carolina, you don't say, and has an active arrest warrant out in Oregon for a hit-and-run crash with injuries. Investigators said Davis had prior arrests, including possession of fictitious ID, filing a false police report, domestic assault, and possession of cocaine with intent to sell. In one of his out-of-state bookings records from 2014, the jail listed a tattoo described as a cross with "Only God Can Judge Me" on his left arm, identical to the tattoo both victims described their boyfriend/fiancé as having. Oh, he's still on the run. Anyone with information about Davis's whereabouts is asked to contact Volusia County Sheriff. Well, if you happen to see this guy or see him around, wow, what a smooth criminal.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Holy cats. All right. Moving on. This one comes from Mercy of Wits. Let me drop that in here now because I can do that.
Hey, Scribe, you think we'll get a Medium article about how this was just bound to happen because of the restrictions and shit that Black people have to deal with and the many aliases we need to have in order to live and how it could drive Black people crazy or something?
I have no idea. Who knows?
Somebody might Medium, see if they can craft something from that.
Okay. Shiogras says, that Michael Clark Duncan? I thought that was the first thing I thought of when I saw him too. I was like, he looks kind of like him. But no. Val Paraiso dropping Crusaders name mascot logos. Okay. Val Paraiso, Indiana. Val Paraiso University announced Thursday that it is dropping the team name Crusaders, the school mascot, and all logos associated with the term that it said has been embraced by hate groups. So you're surrendering your school's identity to hate groups. Okay. The decision comes after a decades-long debate, okay, that had intensified recently because groups such as the Ku Klux Klan began using the symbols and words. Began? Do you know how long the Ku Klux Klan's been using like knights in armor and stuff as part of their branding? Hell, I think Birth of a Nation that movie from a zillion years ago that was all black and white and pro Ku Klux Klan had such things in there. Yeah, if this is a decades-long debate only now, like, okay. The school's faculty and student senates each passed resolutions calling for the change, and the university's alumni board of directors supported reassessing the appropriateness of the team name. All right. The Crusades were a series of bloody religious wars starting in the 11th century between Christians and Muslims. For years, Valpo's mascot has been a helmed figure in faux armor. The, quote, the negative connotation and violence associated with the Crusader imagery are not reflective of Valpo's mission and values, which promote a welcoming and inclusive community, unquote.
But it has been for decades.
Yeah, if your mission and values has been to those things. I mean, okay, the whole school wanted to change it, fine. Go ahead. It seems stupid to me, but whatever, it's your school.
Well, I hate when people say that, like, this thing that has literally represented our image and company or business or organization for literal decades is not a it has been all this time. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
It is what you make of it. That's all it is. It is what you make of it.
Yeah, and if you're admitting now that it was that, then you have been happily accepting the fact that it's been that all this time, and now all of a sudden you're like, that doesn't display. Yes, it does, and it has.
The school has said they will change the logo and the name of the team to Pearl Milling Company.
You asshole.
I'm kidding. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude.
President-elect Jose D. Padilla will oversee a committee that will consider adopting a new team name and mascot for the 3,100 student Lutheran school located in Northwest Indiana. Padilla is scheduled to take over as president March 1st. Find an animal. You know, this is the thing. I think all teams should just like find an animal. Pick an animal. Pick a unique animal. Pick an animal that nobody's used as a mascot before, so that you'll never have to worry about either comparisons or otherwise, like the Valparaiso dodos or honey badgers. Is there a team that uses the honey badger? They should.
I'm almost certain there has to be.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, just the safest bet, pick an animal that nobody else uses. Pick an animal that sounds ridiculous. That way you can't offend anybody and whatever. Just don't put any kind of representative of person thing in your logo ever, because people are terrible. At some point in history, everyone of any particular, visual aesthetic demographic has done something terrible. So the Pirates, the Buccaneers, the Raiders, on and on and on. I mean, bloodthirsty pirates. The Raiders and the Buccaneers really need to change their logos and their team names and everything else, because they are promoting looting and pillaging and high seas robbery. Thank you, Corey Suzuki. My college picked seagulls, not very intimidating.
Well, yeah, Stargazer said the field mice.
There you go. I mean, yeah, pick something completely innocuous, so you never have to offend anybody again. Name your team the Pebbles and have a hamster as the mascot. There you go. You're done. You don't have to do anything else again.
But I knew a white supremacist back when I was like 10 who had a hamster. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. So now hamsters are the official animal of white supremacy. They have a long, extensive history.
Moving on, this one comes from Sean Uli. Wisconsin judge denies request to rearrest Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay. A Wisconsin judge on Thursday denied a request to have Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse rearrested despite complaints from prosecutors that the teen violated the terms of his release by moving. Okay, what's the judge's rationale? Because that, if he actually did violate the terms of his... Judge Bruce Schroeder ordered the 18-year-old suspect to report his new digs to the sheriff's department, but said he did not forfeit his freedom when he packed up and moved. Quote, to issue a warrant now for a defendant who has appeared at every hearing, I'd be breaking the law, the judge said during a live-streamed hearing. Quote, and I'm not going to do it. After what this town has been through in the last 6 months, I don't want any more problems, Schroeder said. The police don't want any more problems, unquote. Okay, Rittenhouse is facing murder and attempted murder charges in the August 25th shooting death of 2 Black Lives Matter protesters and the wounding of a third. Yeah, 2 Black Lives Matter protesters who were white. But, I mean...
You notice they have to put that in, and to this day, people are still saying, oh, that man's a racist, he hates black people. I'm like, well, he sure got some bad aim, or maybe he's colorblind, because I'm pretty sure he exclusively shot white people.
The teenager was with armed militia groups guarding businesses in Kenosha amid looting after the police shooting of Jacob Blake. When confronted by protesters on the night of the fatal incident, confronted, yeah. Rittenhouse shot and killed. Okay, confronted is kind of burying the lead on exactly what happened with this kid. He ran away from people chasing him with guns and blunt objects trying to beat him.
Yeah, and he also responded to the first person who he ended up shooting. He responded to some random nobody firing a shot in the air behind him, which literally nobody still talks about. This dude was found and arrested, I believe, and people, like, no media outlet has even mentioned him.
They're going to have an uphill battle. What was it? Matt Christensen, he read the police report of the incident on a video several months back now, I guess. And even the police report described how he was under threat and was running away from the people chasing him before he turned around, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah,
even the police report, like I say, I don't know what's going to happen with the case. Who knows when it's going to actually happen with the pandemic and everything. But the prosecution is going to have a real uphill battle proving that this guy was not defending himself given the circumstances that are in the police report. So
yeah, and there's a bunch of other things that people pointed out. The fact that he either A, wasn't supposed to be there, B, shouldn't have had a weapon. There's a whole bunch of things that people can point at and say he takes fault for just being there and being involved and all that stuff like that or whatever. But like, he defended himself the first time. He defended himself the second time. He literally walked up to the police car and attempted to turn himself in. And they said they needed to go handle the situation. So they told him to go home. They went to go pick him up where he was found, where he was supposed to be. And he's going to every hearing since then. Like, I really, like, what the fuck?
Well, like I say, he may indeed be guilty of bringing a firearm across state lines or whatever else. His actual actions assessed are crimes. But insofar as the shootings are concerned, if you watch the video, if you read the police report, you're going to have a really hard time proving that this guy was intending to kill people and that was his mission.
Yeah, there's nothing that shows. I've seen every second of every video that's out. I have all of it, so I don't know.
Okay, let me see here. Let's see, which one's this? Okay. This one comes from Shrouded Angel. We'll end on this one because this sounds funny. In a sort of like, well, maybe not funny, haha way. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Man left crushed after shop worker tricks him into thinking he's won the jackpot. Oh, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah, that's some shit you get your ass kicked for, man.
A shop employee has gone viral on Reddit after he tricked a customer into thinking he had hit the jackpot on a scratch card and filmed his deflated reaction when he saw the true winnings. Okay, how did that hash out? Let's see. Winning a life-changing sum of money is a dream scenario we've all gone over in our heads again and again. But one man who was tricked into thinking he had hit the jackpot on a scratch card looked as though he had already started spending the money before he was sent crashing back down to earth. In a video shared on Reddit, the man can be seen scratching off the last box before handing the card to a worker at the shop where he purchased it, who asks, "Ready to see how much you won, bro?" As he puts the card through the machine, it plays a triumphant noise as the worker says, "What the fuck? You won't believe it. You won't believe it." The customer is hesitant to trust him at first as he puts his hands to his head, replying, "You lying. How much, bro? You lying. I know you're lying." He runs around the counter to the till to see the screen himself, where he discovers the noise had signaled he had won a grand total of £1.45 or $2. The camera quickly pans to his face to show a truly broken man before the cashier quickly adds insult to injury, adding, "I'm lying." Okay, that's lame. The look on his face, what a dick this employee is. Yeah, what a jerkwad. Like, why?
I don't know, man. I feel like depending on the company, that's like grounds to like fire someone.
Yeah. Now, I mean, first off, if you're the employee of the shop and you're doing that, either way, you're probably going to get canned. If this guy had been like one of his good friends and he was pulling a prank.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, then it probably won't save your job, but at least you're not being a dick just to be a dick. It's, inside joke kind of stuff. That one, like I say, it'd still be jerkish, but if you're just trying to do a punked on your friend, okay, whatever. But either way, yeah, no, this guy just got himself fired, more likely than not.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. This is one of those situations that I was like, yeah, he got fired. It's like, well, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for all the stories. Sorry I didn't get to them all, but, time marches on, as it were. On to YouTube time. I'll probably drone on about TED Excellence for a bit. So, Satsu, what were you up to today?
Well, I got my Satsuhime video done, so that'll be going up hopefully sometime tomorrow once I get all the edits and stuff completed and make sure that it's good and working. I have a video right now over on my 2 Cents Plus channel that is on the verge of hitting 50,000 views.
Oh!
And it is a video that I made on a complete whim. And the audio for this video is fucked. Like the intro and the outro are really, really, really loud for whatever reason. And the actual audio, you have to like crank it to be able to really hear me. But this video has almost 50,000 views. And it was one of those times where I'm just like, man, you know what? I want to do this because I'm really proud of this base that we built. I'm going to do this video. I don't really care about, whatever. I'm just going to try to hurry up and get it done. And you can tell by watching it based off what I just said, it was clearly rushed. But it is about to surpass my most viewed video on my gaming channel, which ironically enough was a video that I had Monkey do a voiceover for.
Oh,
and I'm just like, that is craziness.
People want the link to this, Satsu, in the chat.
The video?
I believe so.
It's just a base building video. It's for 2 Cents Plus. It's a Alpha 19 7 Days to Die video. I mean, if you guys want the link, I'll give you the link. But yeah, unless you're interested in it, I don't know if you're gonna like it. But I will share it once I freaking find it. Yeah, it's at 47,000 views right now.
Damn.
Yeah. And when did I upload this video?
Is it monetized?
It is monetized.
Hey, Undoom's in the chat. Hey, Undoom, how's it going?
What's up, dude?
You want to come on and hang out for a bit? Let me know.
Random said, let's get it to 60,000 views. Holy
yeah.
I was, it's kind of weird too. And that was a part of my motivation. Like I was telling you guys that I have kind of adopted the attitude that I'm just going to be doing whatever I feel I want to do on my channel. I'm going to stop worrying about what people, want me to play or what I think people think I should be playing or what's popular. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to upload some shit that I want to upload. And because it seems that most of my most viewed videos, a good portion of all of my most viewed videos are videos that I did on a whim that I thought would be fun to do. That wasn't a part of the formula that I had been following all this time, So, I mean, it seems like that works for me. So I'm going to try to latch on to this idea and see where it goes. And you guys already know firsthand the after effects of that, because I have episodes of Honey Pop in process and one that I just put over on my channel. And I know some people are like, what the fuck is this? My friend, one of my really close friends messaged me and was like, so about your new video.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? You got a problem with it? He was like, nah, dude, it's funny. And I'm like, okay, just making sure. So yeah, I've been working on a lot of projects now that I would like to consider passion projects, just stuff that I think it's personally fun, that I'm putting out into the world, and hopefully they're well received. And if they're not, fuck it.
Undoom says, I'm cooking food while I listen to you guys, so I can't come on right now. No worries, dude. Hope you're cooking. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
Are you subscribed to my cooking channel, Undoom?
Oh, yeah. Remember, guys, Satsu has his own cooking channel, which we just got to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Next milestone is 4,000 hours viewed or something in order to monetize the channel. Link to it's in the description. Fam 2 cents. Let's look for the cooking channel link in there.
Yeah,
And
if you haven't, I appreciate you.
Yeah, if you have an opportunity to go check it out, subscribe if you like that kind of stuff, and watch a couple of videos, and that'll throw some minutes into the next threshold for Satsu and his channel.
Yeah, I've been fairly busy, guys, keeping up with a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm probably going to start playing Cooking Simulator again, because that game was pretty fun. But I heard they actually made a lot of changes and did a lot of fixes on it, so it should be even more fun now. I'm still waiting for them to come out with it in VR. That still hasn't happened yet.
Virtual reality cooking simulator. Oh boy.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they have it on their queue or whatever, and I signed up for the email that I'm like, let me know when you get this game in VR, because that's probably all I'm gonna play.
Undo says making homemade pasta bolognese.
Bolognese, yeah, I just made bolognese. That was like a video I did because Drunkle asked me to make it. He was like, yeah, you should make that, and that motherfucker didn't even go watch the video.
So is that because he's full of baloney?
Probably.
Okay. Any other YouTube stuffs?
What else did I? New cooking videos coming out tomorrow too. So, and surprisingly enough, it is a dish that's very similar to bolognese, but it's not. I've made the bolognese dish already, but this one is actually pretty close to the same thing essentially. But it's another one of the HelloFresh dishes that I got, so that'll be dropping tomorrow. So
HelloFresh, which still needs to sponsor Satsu at some point.
Please do sponsor me.
Fingers crossed. As for myself, so I did a TED Excellence today, as you might imagine, as Thursday is now TED Excellence Day. For those of you that might not know, I've decided that Thursday will be the day of the week that I'll do a TED Excellence for sure. It's not entirely impossible that should the urge strike me during the rest of the week that I might do one or something like it, but Thursday will be the dedicated day now. And so today, at first, I was going to do a presentation. Do I still have it here? Yeah, it's titled, What is 5 years experience and what can universities do about it? Now, I was going to do that one until I started prepping it, because what I do is I take the TEDx and I clean up the sound. There's always like some background noise or something, and I always run the sound through Audacity to clean up the sound. And so, as a consequence, I'm always having to listen to a little bit of the audio, even though I don't ever actually watch the entire presentation, just to make sure everything sounds okay. And unfortunately, this guy's audio was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. The footage itself looked like it was filmed on a webcam from like 2008, and the sound was just bad. And he was mumbling his words and everything else, and it was just and I was like, I can't put myself through this, let alone my audience. So I ditched that one. My theory was on that one that he was going to complain that a lot of jobs require 5 years experience, and when you're just going out of college, you obviously can't have 5 years experience, and this is unfair and everything else. And so I have no idea where he was going to go with his argument, but I had a feeling it was going to be something to the effect of it's up to the universities to somehow provide something that equates to experience. And I thought, and again, this is all me guessing. I didn't watch the thing. I thought, is he going to argue for internships? Because they already have those. But if he's going to argue that somehow it is not right to require 5 years experience from a potential candidate, I'm like, you know why they do that? It's because school learning is different from on-the-job experience. Coming out of a college with a degree doesn't make you necessarily ready for what to do in the industry you're seeking or going for, or whatever. Now, your mileage may vary depending on your circumstances and your degree and so on, but at the same time, there is a difference between just book knowledge and working knowledge, and that's why they usually have that 5 year or 2 year whatever experience threshold for people coming into certain jobs. Now, like I say, maybe he was going to go the route of suggesting something better. Maybe he was going to go the entitled route of I shouldn't have to, I just spent all this time in college. I shouldn't have to have 5 years experience. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's all beside the point because I didn't do that one. What I did do, however, was 4 tips to kickstart honest conversations at work. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, obviously, because that would be defeating the purpose of actually broadcasting the thing. However, I will say that the advice our speaker in this presentation gives for how to conduct oneself at work in various places is the exact opposite of what you should do at work. She provides horrific advice at one point. I'm not going to tell you what it was. You'll have to just discover it for yourself, as I did. But she gives a scenario and advises on how to handle said scenario in such a terrible, terrible way that I tried to imagine any working situation I've been in where even the scenario made any sense and how that would have actually gone over in the real world. It would have been an absolute human resources catastrophe. But she goes at it like, oh, this is what you should do. So anyway, if you want to hear, in my opinion, the mirror universe in Star Trek advice for how to handle certain situations at work, yeah, listen to that TED Excellence. It is something to behold. Outside of that, I did some more thumbnail work for upcoming broadcasts. Like I said, with 3 nights a week now, I'm trying to get as many thumbnails cooked up and thought up in advance to have things ready to go when the time comes. I am, depending on the circumstances of this weekend, because I'm hoping to hang out with my sister, but there are some variables that might throw a wrench in that. I may do something on Saturday morning, and I'll probably do something on Sunday morning. What those somethings will be, I don't know. But in order to find out what I decide to do, one way or the other, be sure to follow us on Twitter. Our handles are in the link description below. And if you're not already, I would hope you are, subscribe to both of our channels, or, well, the several channels that Satsu has. I only have the one, unless you count the other channel I have that I don't do much with. But if you're interested in either a kind of not great playthrough of a Vampire the Masquerade visual novel, or you have any interest in my thoughts or experiences with BDSM, you can go look up Non-Author Dark is my alternative channel, which I'm still sort of holding in the wings. As I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's housed various things in the past couple of years. I think that's all of my YouTube shenanigans. So let's get on to internet fucketry. I've got a couple of things here, if I can find them. So my biggest belly laugh today, Andrea Mitchell, who is the NBC News chief Washington correspondent and chief foreign affairs correspondent and an anchor, and been in the business forever and ever and ever. Well, she had some choice words for Ted Cruz today.
Yeah.
Because she said, Senator Ted Cruz says #impeachment trial is like Shakespeare, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. No, that's Faulkner. Now, the sound and the fury is indeed the title of a Faulkner book, but full of sound and fury, signifying nothing is Macbeth, Shakespeare. And in a tweet that happened all of, I think 20 minutes later or something, she said, I clearly studied too much American literature and not enough Macbeth. My apologies to Senator Cruz. And I was like, oh, you sure showed him, Andrea. Good dunk. Yeah, she's got gotcha. Oops. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Self-own. Let's see. Oh, so I wish I could show this. Give me a moment. I might be able to actually display this on the screen here. But Satsu, if you got some fucketry, go ahead. I'm going to prep this for display here in a second.
Okay. Well, I did see an article that apparently the Mandalorian fans
Uh-huh.
want Lucy Lawless to play Cara Dune.
Okay. Well,
And I'm just like,
what fan? No, the fans don't want her fired in the first place.
well, I mean, let me see here, because they say fans, but
Yeah.
whenever that happens, typically they're just like, there was one person on Twitter that said this, so the fandom as a whole.
Which is not true at all.
Also saw that the Mandalorian star is going to play Joel in the new Last of Us movie, apparently.
Oh, Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, which no.
Okay.
No, I don't see it at all. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he can pull it off. And I haven't watched The Mandalorian, so I don't even know what the fuck his acting is, but he definitely don't look the part.
Well, that's always a little the right makeup and everything else and hair dye, they can approximate it.
I guess. Well, I mean, here's hoping he does a good job. Like, and a lot of people, it's like, I don't really see it. They're like, oh, you want him to do it, but no, I don't. I want anybody who's playing the role of something that I like to do an excellent job. Like, I want that, but it might not happen. Just what I'm saying. I can't remember who they said was supposed to play Ellie.
That part I did see. It was supposed to be some actress from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never watched Game of Thrones, so I don't know.
Me neither. So,
okay, you mind if I cut back in with the thing I want to show off?
Yeah, do you think?
We'll play this a little fast and loose. So this is some internet fucketry in 3 parts. This was posted by Rainy Day on Twitter today. So let me walk you through this epic 3-part story. Let's see. Can you see that okay on there? Now it's a little, let me see if I can zoom that up a little bit. Okay, that's about as good as I can get it. You are a ghostwriter, yes? Now, so the person in gray is the one messaging the guy who posted this on Twitter, okay? You are a ghostwriter, yes? Sure am. Do you accept customers on Twitter? I haven't thus far, but if a client found their way to me from Twitter, I'd take it on a case-by-case basis. I want to hire you. What's your rates? Depends on what you want me to write. Next slide.
Oh, God. I'd love exchanges like this because they always end up going fucking crazy places.
Oh, just wait. I have the story idea. I'd want it to be a series, at least 400 pages per book for teens 16 to 21 demographic. For one 400-page novel, you're looking at a low estimate of $10,000 to $15,000 for the novel alone, at least $5,000 up front. High estimate of $20,000 to $40,000. The end price depends on a few factors like publishing, advertising, royalties, endorsements from celebrities. I'll link you up with the full details if this sounds good to you. That's far too much. I understand if you can't afford this, but I have clients who offer me more, so working for less is counterproductive. I can link you up with writers who are more suitable for your job. I have a large enough network, I could find somebody for you. For one book, I will give you $500 up front and $1,000 on completion, and 1% of the sales. You can have partial credit on the back of the book.
Dude, the fucking audacity of the people in these feeds. Good Lord.
Oh, just here we go. Okay. Let's see, can I make that? Oh, I'm going to make it too big. Okay. That's as good big as I can make it before it cuts it off, guys. LOL, dude, I'm a ghostwriter. Credit kind of defeats the point. I'm sorry, but I can't take your job. My offer to link you up with someone still stands. My daddy is a lawyer. I'm more famous than you. Cool. Unless you want me to sue you and put my 7,550 followers on your ass as well, I suggest you shut up and write my book. Stick to streaming because you can't write for shit. How are you so ugly and so full of yourself? LOL.
What?
Looking forward to that lawsuit, man. You ought to spend that money going to school and learning to write instead. That way you won't have to harass and insult people because they can't do things you can't. Pathetic.
Oh my God.
And that is the end of the epic tale. Yeah, just thought I'd share that one with you guys. Like that is a new high in the low expectations. Let's see. The other nonsense I saw today is apparently, for those of you old enough to remember, the film Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, where Nicolas Cage gives an epic performance as an introduction to his character by groping a choir girl and going insane, which is one of the most hilarious still gifs you can find out there. I mean, well, just about anything Nicolas Cage does is pretty hilarious. They are going to make a direct sequel to this film.
Face Off?
The director of Godzilla vs. Kong is lined up to direct a Face Off direct sequel.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know how they do a direct sequel, given the fact that, you know, Nicolas Cage's character, as far as I remember, is dead. I mean, if they bring back John Travolta in his elderly state to be the torch or the baton passer, I suppose, maybe. But at the same time, it's like, of all things, I mean, you want to talk about, like, I mean, there's more than a few examples of this, but I'm just, when I saw this today, I thought, you know, if you needed a better example of just how bereft Hollywood is of new ideas, it's doing a sequel to Face Off. It's just like a film from like the 96, 97 or something. It's just, but I just said, ha 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 ha, good Christ, why? Yeah. Is anybody going to be able to take that seriously? I didn't take it seriously when it came out the first time. John Woo directing an action movie in America with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. The action scenes were really cool. The concept was ridiculous. The performances, I mean, admittedly, Nicolas Cage's performance in that movie, just like with any of his other movies, is just memorable because it was just so freaking nuts. But really, anyway.
Somebody, it's epic blackface opportunity. Dude.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Man.
Like, oh, man.
Let's see. And then the New York Times said this today. More than 12 million people have watched the first 2 days of live TV coverage of Donald Trump's second impeachment trial, more than the audience for the first trial a little more than a year ago, according to Nielsen. And I said, indeed, oddly, people have more time on their hands to watch television than they did a year ago. I wonder why that might be.
Who the fuck knows?
I don't know. It's a mystery. Some things will never be resolved. Just don't know. Can't tell. And lastly, there was a tweet out today from Ted Ed. That's Ted's educational talk subgenre section. A tweet that sent out a little article that said, here are 10 talks to help jumpstart difficult conversations in the home and in the classroom. And I said, oh boy, I love difficult conversations. So I'm thinking, since they gave me a list of all these really, I mean, it must be excellent, relevant TED Talks, maybe I'll make a series out of this. I'll do a 10-part series analyzing these very important conversations with things like we need to talk about an injustice, how to overcome our biases, how to raise a black son in America. I might need a wingman for that one, because I'm obviously not equipped for that. A Tale of Two Americas and the Mini Mart Where They Collided. That's the title. My road trip through the whitest towns in America. Does racism affect how you vote? The untapped genius that could change science for the better. Okay. How we're priming some kids for college and others for prison. Oh, are we going to do the school to prison pipeline? Oh, I love hearing about the school to prison pipeline. Colorblind or color brave? Interesting. And lastly, The Beauty of Human Skin in Every Color by Ed Gein. I'm taking it back. Yeah. By Buffalo Bill. No, okay. Anyway, those are the 10 TED Talks, TED Ed Talks or whatever, that are being recommended to me from TED itself. And I was just like, do I dare follow their advice We'll see. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Sometimes not. Anyway, Satsu, did you have any other YouTube stuff or sorry, Fucketry stuff? That's all I had.
Not that I can think of right now. I'm sure I've seen some other stuff. Oh, I did find I found a super cute video of Squeetus that apparently I had on my Facebook from when she was a baby.
Aww.
And I think this was around the time when she first figured out she could smile and not mean mug all the time.
Ooh, can you show it or?
Yeah, I should be able to. I don't think the sound will.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I don't know if the sound will carry, but we need some Squeetus time after all the horrible news and tanker truck. I'm still checking to see if there's an update on that tanker truck story because I'm, my hopes dim with every minute that I don't hear something otherwise. But I really hope they find those people, and I hope all of them survive. But it's not sounding good. Anyway, okay, here we go. There she is.
That was when her was a baby.
A little baby. Oh, look at her with little puffy hair. Hello. She's like, oh.
Fucking Kool-Aid smile, dude.
Oh.
I can't. Every time.
Oh, man. She's so precious.
Every time.
All right. Well, with a little bit of a Squeetus aside for a second, we are now at the bottom of the hour, which means, guys, it's your time. Question time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you have anything you'd like to say about Gina Carano, or just, throw some love at Squeetus, by all means, put in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those so we know it's for us. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those so we know it's for us. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, ask your friendly neighborhood chat partner, and they will explain it to you. Cannibalistic Wizard. Buffalo ribs roasted in red wine, tomato paste, onions, and garlic paste, potato salad using thick-cut bacon and fire-roasted potatoes, and a tall glass of tequila lemonade. That all sounds fine to me.
Sure.
I mean, usually it's something ridiculous. Maybe that's more Mata Winters territory, but
that sounds pretty good. I mean, yeah.
Dude, I got tons of Squeetus video. I think one day, one of these days, just like on an off stream, or maybe if Scribe doesn't show up in time, I'll fill that whole time with just
There you go. Excuse me. Red Dirt Runner, Scribe, have you considered doing more visual novels on your alt channel? No, I haven't. Truth be told, that game was a gift actually from Ranting Monkey. He had a spare code for it and gave it to me as a gift. And I don't usually go for visual novels as games. I don't know if I just don't have the patience for them or expecting something else. And a lot of visual novel stuff is all sort of, or at least most of the ones that I ever see on Steam are like anime stuff and things. And I'm not really an anime guy. So the likelihood that I'll do another one, especially given how that one was so poorly structured in places, yeah, probably not. Let's see. And then Red Dirt Runner, Lord Powers, you can summon as much chicken nuggets as you want. However, you can only eat them with ketchup. Bonus, a person you hate pockets always fill up with ketchup. Okay, I can only eat them with ketchup. So if I get chicken nuggets that I haven't summoned, I can have barbecue sauce. But I mean, that's someone.
If I have to only eat chicken nuggets with ketchup, then it ain't worth the power.
I rarely eat chicken nuggets with anything other than ketchup, but I do occasionally like barbecue sauce.
I've
But
never
either
got a ketchup thing for chicken nuggets.
okay, either way, somebody I hate their pockets always fill up with ketchup. I mean that's about as harmless a curse as I could put on somebody. So, sure.
It's probably extremely inconvenient, though.
well, here's my question, though. If I can summon as much of chicken nuggets as I want, so I could go to every homeless shelter and just give them, free food anytime, or anybody on the street. Like I could solve one segment of world hunger.
Until the homeless get sick of nuggets.
Well, I mean, there are limitations, obviously, but anyway. Let's see. Check your logic. Have you seen any videos from the channel SM East Harbinger? Their video on the Confederate flag debate was in my recommended, and it looks like they have tons of classroom debate videos. Never heard of it. Never seen it. So that answers that. Classroom debate videos. Last time I saw anything about debate videos, it was a takedown by Mr. Medicare on some debate society that was giving awards to people that was just screaming into a microphone and calling it a debate. It was insane. It was like an official debate society, and they were praising these students as though they were geniuses or something, and they were just screaming absolute nonsense as fast as they could into a microphone and calling it a debate. It was bizarre.
It was Twitter in real life.
Man, it was something else. At first I thought it was a big joke, but no, this is apparently what they do in some places. More Squeedus, says Zan Wild. Well, I mean, if Satsu has some videos available, I have no problem displaying them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put together a little compilation for her birthday coming up.
Oh, there you go.
Because she's turning 2 soon.
Mata Winter. Oh, lords, would y'all try a large smoked salmon cutlet, a bowl of cinnamon applesauce, and a personal-sized bottle of sweet red wine? Smoked salmon, okay. Cinnamon applesauce. I'm not a big applesauce guy, but I don't hate it, so okay.
Why does that sound like the dinner of some independent, don't need no man chick who's like a super, super busy businesswoman, but don't know how to cook? And she goes home and eats that while crying. It just like as that was being described, I built the whole scenario in my head of some chick kicking off her pumps, fucking slumping into the kitchen and tossing that bullshit in the microwave with some wine that came out of a box, and she's just like, "Fuck."
And somewhere Mata Winter is like, that's what I made last night. Lord, says Chef James, have you seen the video of the girl who used hair curling chemicals in her sensitive area and was crying? The doctors were laughing. I have not seen that video. The doctors were laughing. That's some bad bedside manner, but I have heard of such things before. I've heard a lot of things of people doing a lot of very dumb things to their private areas, so doesn't surprise me. But I haven't seen that video, no. Understatement, Satsu, hey, we playing any more of that Valheim? Scratches neck and arms.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a problem.
Oh, I see.
Not tonight, no, but we will be playing again at some point.
Motto Winter, Scribe, will Scribe wife be fond next year? I mean, found? Is 2022 going to be my year for love? I don't know. I would be surprised, happily surprised, I suppose, but surprised if I suddenly came across my potential wife in the next 12 months. Ebony Williams says, honey mustard for the win. Depends on what you're using it on. Yeah.
I like honey mustard. It's really weird too, because I don't really have a preferred, except for maybe the only thing I want at any time where I won't turn down is probably buffalo sauce for nuggets and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's something that you can give me at any moment, and I'm just like, this is fine. But sometimes I really want ranch, sometimes I want barbecue sauce, sometimes I want honey mustard. It just really depends. But I don't ever want ketchup. I mean, I'll eat it if it's the only thing I have. I'll be like, all right, fuck it, I'm doing ketchup. But I never by choice when there's other things available.
Let's see. Pirates Creed. Scribe, can you stop getting your Kyle Rittenhouse coverage from Anna Kasparian? Contrary to what she keeps saying, it is not illegal under state or federal to carry a gun across state lines. I haven't listened to Anna Kasparian in years, but that aside, I I was under the impression that he had violated some Illinois law or something by bringing a gun across state lines. Am I incorrect in that?
I don't know. There was a lot of talk about, like I said, there was a whole bunch of talk about what he could be charged for or different things that he did do. And that was one of the things that they mentioned. That in particular, I never got a chance to verify because it wasn't really set up in the videos or whatever. A whole bunch of people have a whole bunch of different things that they were saying about how he got the gun, how it got to them. Some people say a friend gave it to him. Some was borrowing it from them or whatever. That part I haven't confirmed myself, so I don't know.
Okay,
but
yeah, no, wherever I got the information or the notion that he had potentially violated some law in one of the other states by bringing the gun across state lines, I didn't hear that from Anna Kasparian. Like I said, I haven't paid attention to, except in like videos that make fun of them or something. I haven't paid attention to Young Turks and forever. Let's see. Peter Silac Hades 313 says, Satsu, have you seen any gameplay for Little Nightmares 2 yet?
Only a tiny bit. And I have been kind of interested in Little Nightmares in general. With 2 coming out and everybody kind of being really excited about how popular that game was, I've actually been thinking about picking up both and doing a series for both of them. So
I've seen Chaos Eve playing Little Nightmares before on her Twitch channel.
It looks pretty cool. It's got this kind of really creepy aesthetic on, and I haven't played a game like that in quite some time. So I may be down.
Yeah, and for those of you that care about such things, the Steam Lunar New Year sale is going on right now from now until the 15th. I saw some pretty good discounts on some pretty big games, like the Star Wars Fallen Order game is now only $20. And Grim Dawn on sale for just under $8, and they just did a big update not too long ago, and keep doing updates. They are Crate Entertainment is acting like old school Blizzard with Diablo and Diablo 2 as they operate with Grim Dawn. So I really appreciate that because that game is awesome. And if you haven't played it and you like ARPGs or Diablo specifically, and if you like steampunk / Cthulhu horror aesthetic, it's definitely your game. Dr. Keeve, when you are old, let me check my watch. Okay, yeah. What do you think children will ask you to tell stories about? Children won't ask old people to tell stories. They'll just have Netflix and the internet.
Yeah, well, if the media has their way, they won't ask anybody to tell stories. They just have a fucking media chip implanted in them that tells them what they should be thinking at all times.
Let's see. Chat jumps. I missed your question, guys. Just post it again. I'll see if I can get to it. Motto Winter Scribe, are you like Sassy and hating of grapefruit wine?
Grapefruit is disgusting and a sin against humanity.
I've never had grapefruit wine, but admittedly, I also don't seek out grapefruit reflexively either. I'm trying to think of the last time I actually had grapefruit, and I'm failing because it's obviously been forever. I mean, admittedly, a lot of things that I used to have regularly have not been available in the last year or so. Thank you, Gamer Valine. If he was alone as a minor, it's illegal. He was fine in Wisconsin, however. Illinois law on possession would have been a state matter, except he crossed to Wisconsin. Okay. Because I thank you so much. Because I understood there was a question about whether or not he had violated some law simply by possession or whatever else. So if that's the case, okay, I stand corrected. I wasn't sure about all the ins and outs. A lot of people know this case in much finer detail than I do.
Yeah, I didn't pay that much attention to the implications of him coming there. I was more so interested in the video. So when I did my research, I know everything from every video that took place. But what happened before, I wasn't really all that interested in. So,
let's see. 1 second here. Gotta check something real quick. Live TV, everybody. Okay, so next, as chat jumps again, Red Dirt Runner Lords, what are your thoughts on this trial? Make Trump into a martyr, and win or lose could. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that out loud on the air because I don't know what implications there are. I don't know. I don't know what, as far as I can tell, the outcome of the trial is going to be several Republicans will vote to convict. Not enough Republicans will vote to convict that'll meet the 2/3 majority necessary, and it'll be another failed attempt at impeaching him. And then at that point, the Democrats will have to actually get on with business that doesn't directly involve Trump. Because I'm waiting for them to get to a point where they're actually talking about things they are doing instead of things they are prosecuting. But my prediction is you're going to have at least maybe 7 to 10 Republicans defect and vote to convict, but it won't be enough, and they'll miss by like 6 or 7 votes or something. That's my guess. Couldn't tell you otherwise. Gamer Valine, thank you again. That would be barring he had it in his possession in Illinois. If he never left Wisconsin with it, that is a state matter, and he's only subject to extradition. Okay. All right. Let's see. Sorry, Satsu.
I was about to say something.
I thought you were.
Yeah. As I said, that was basically the sound of that thought leaving my brain.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Like later. Like, okay, well, that's gone now.
Check your logic. Did you see there's supposedly a rise in anti-Asian hate crimes? I remember hearing about that last year when the virus was first spreading and people were like looking suspiciously at anybody Asian because they all the assumption was they all thought that they were carrying the virus or it was their fault or something. If that's come back in some way, shape, or form, I haven't heard about it now.
You mean back when fucking Pelosi went down to what was it, Little China or whatever? It's like, oh look, everything's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Come down here and do some mass gathering. It's fine.
Stargazer Nuts, have you ever had alcohol-infused strawberries? How did you like them? I've had chocolate-covered strawberries. I don't know that I've ever had alcohol-infused strawberries.
Nah.
When was the last time I had anything that was infused with alcohol? No. But anyway, strawberries, no. I don't think I've ever had them. Let's see. Pirates Creed. What animals are you in the Chinese zodiac? Oh. I know this. Do you know yours, Satsu?
No.
I think I'm the goat or the sheep, whatever it is. One of those two. Check your logic. Since you're into redheads, I'm assuming he's talking to me, are you loving Jen Psaki? If she wears the right shirt, you can see she's pretty well endowed. Truth be told, I haven't paid that much attention to Jen Psaki's form. So yeah, I don't have some kind of like a weird reflex. I see a woman with red hair and I'm like, but no, the answer is no. I haven't paid that much attention. Now I'll have to look. I'll have to find a picture to see what you're talking about, but no. Sorry. Go ahead.
They got you on Titty Watch now.
Hey, well, I do like breasts. What can I tell you? Ebony Williams, where'd it go? It was there a second ago. And now, thoughts on hard lemonade. I don't hate it. I mean, in college and afterwards, things like hard lemonade and Smirnoff Ice, that kind of stuff, we call them bitch beers. Like wine coolers and stuff, we call them bitch beers. And I think I had Mike's Hard Lemonade a couple of times. But, yeah, I actually haven't had anything milder than whiskey, at least with Dr. Pepper, in a very long time. So I don't hate it. I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, I couldn't do alcohol for a really long time. So bitch beers were all I drank whenever I was at something. And I'm just like,
yeah,
if you don't have those type of things, then I won't be drinking. And they're like, what? I'm like, it's not my fault. I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't. It makes me nauseous.
And at least in my circle of friends, it wasn't an insult or something. That was just what we called them. And if that's enough for you, and you get a little buzz from that, well, more power to you. I always liked the green apple Smirnoff Ice because it tasted like apple Jolly Ranchers, which is my favorite. So
yeah, it's just I couldn't. I literally could. My first experience with alcohol made it to where just the smell of anything made me completely sick. So, and not only that, like I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's like, "Oh, I tasted this gin. It tastes so good." It doesn't. It doesn't. It all tastes like fucking poison. And like,
that reminds me of my dad. Like my dad, for a lot of his growing up, he was a smoker, and then he started dating my mother, and she was ridiculously allergic, or it would trigger her asthma to be around cigarette smoke. So he quit cold turkey for my mother, and now when he smells cigarette smoke, he feels ill. It's one of those things. It's like that's love right there. Pirates Creed, Scribe, has your blood pressure gotten better with Monkey no longer here to interrupt you? My blood pressure wasn't bad to begin with. I mean, truth be told, a little known fact, not that I haven't mentioned several times, much of my consternation with being interrupted is melodrama for the sake of entertainment. Sometimes it's less melodrama and more real irritation, but that's usually when Drunkle's here. I love you, Drunkle. Kinda. Let's see. And then is chat jumping again, or did chat freeze? It just kind of stopped. Chat just kind of stopped. Ebony Williams asked, Subway or Firehouse subs? I've never had Firehouse, so I guess Subway.
Yeah, I think I had Firehouse once. And it wasn't intentional. Like we were just looking for somewhere to eat. We're like, fuck, is this the only place over here? All right, let's try it. And it was pretty good. But I only had it the once, so I can't really make a definitive call there.
Let's see. Everybody's talking about what their signs are, either Chinese zodiac or otherwise. And Keeve puts in the chat the link to Sean Uli's GoFundMe. Sean Uli needs some help getting some dental stuff, guys. So if you have a minute, click on that link and take a look. And if you have a couple of bucks spare, think about tossing it his way. BG, Scribelight, I blame Monkey for the seizure in your eye. What I was doing at the time that happened, I was playing Grim Dawn. And all of a sudden, out of that one eye, all the colors of the game suddenly went like super duper bright, and like the saturation was just shot through the roof, and then it all faded to a gray. It was terrifying. I had no idea what the hell was going on. There wasn't any pain or anything. It was all of a sudden. It's like all the light in the world was inside my eye, and then it just went dark. And I was like, what is going on? Absolutely terrifying. I'm so lucky that the stars aligned that day, and that my sister was already on her way to pick me up for hanging out, that the hospital was nearby and open, and that one of their best eye doctors just happened to be showing up that day to do some rounds and some extra work when I showed up. It was all very stars aligning, and I was very fortunate. I got treatment, and it took 6 or some odd months, but it cleared up as best as it's ever going to be given the circumstances. And unless I really think about it, I don't really notice it anymore, thankfully. So that was one of the scariest things that ever happened to me. So very, very fortunate. Very grateful to my sister.
Yeah,
just want to say, in case she's listening, because
eye malfunction, that'd be fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, the thing is that my sister herself, she is blind in her right eye. She's been blind in her right eye since she was a very young child, because she had effectively an aneurysm when she was very young. And so her entire life, she's been had sighted only in one eye. You can't tell by looking at her. There's no she doesn't have like a milky eye or anything. Although she would think, she has said it would be cool if she could get one of those, because she want to look like a witch or something. But she's operated completely fine with one eye her entire life. She drives a car, she holds down a job, everything. You would have no idea she lacks sight in an eye if you just saw her operating in the world. And so when I'm sitting there and I'm freaking out about the fact that this might be permanent, that I'm just thinking about all the possibilities, I'm looking across. I'm sitting on the little hospital bed thing as the the nurse is taking my blood pressure and everything. And sitting across from me in the chair is my sister. I'm looking at her. I'm like, dude, you're looking at someone who does this every day and has done so her entire life. If she can get through it, if this is the new normal for you, you're going to be fine. She was a very comforting presence in that whole situation. And, like I say, I was very fortunate that things kind of lined up the way they did. But in case she's listening, because I know that she does listen from time to time, I really appreciate her. And I'm still a terrible person for what I did to her this past summer. I won't talk about that story again because that's bad enough. I was, yes, I made a very, very poor joke. A very poor joke. If you thought tricking that guy into thinking he won the lottery was a poor joke, I did a poor joke. Those of you that remember this, you already know what I'm talking about. But understatement, Scribe Light, when are you guys going to determine if you're keeping the show or not? I mean, as a sort of rough idea of if we decide to make any kind of announcements about changes, it'll probably be at the end of this month. We decided that February was going to be sort of our test month to see, okay, in a world without Ranting Monkey, how does the show operate? How do we feel about it? Do we feel like the dynamic is good? Are we having fun? All that kind of stuff. We're still in the very early stages of it. We're going to take it day by day. And Satsu and I will be, off and on discussing it as things proceed. If any major decisions are made, we will tell you guys up front. If it's a change in schedule or anything else. But right now, we're just sort of, toes in the water, see how it goes. Of course, you guys let us know what you think as well, both by your attendance, your comments, your likes and dislikes on the videos. We are keeping an eye on these things. So let us know what you think. But we're keeping keeping our minds open on the whole thing right now. Mm-hmm. Understatement. Thank the Lord of Punchlines. Yes, my sister, the Lord of Punchlines. Let's see. Advocatus Diaboli. Was this the cancer thing? Yes, this was the bad joke. Absolutely bad joke. Silver says, I think you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Thank you, Silver. Appreciate it. Let's see. Understatement. I think you're doing fine. Not having Monkey gives you a chance to express your own rage in his stead. I suppose that is one thing. I have to take up the slack, or we have to take up the slack for not having an angry Simeon around all the time. Thank you, P-Dog Knight. Glad to be here past my bedtime. You need your rest, old man. You got a show in the morning, don't you? Yes, if you guys are not aware of P-Dog Knight, Lawyer Dog, check out his channel and his morning show, The Morning Night Live. I know it starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So do your regional math to find out what happens for your part of the world. But be sure to check him out too. He covers all the stuff. He gets all the early day stuff first before the rest of us catch up at the end of the night. So let's see. Wes Wolliver, In a World Without Ranting Monkey. Sounds like a movie trailer. Oh yeah. Gosh, I was thinking the other day, and not to get anybody too excited, but I was thinking, we have this extra time to fill up every day without Monkey around. I was thinking about entertaining doing ads again. But there be dragons if I open up that floodgate again for myself and my mental health. So that's not me saying it's happening, guys. It is a thought that occurred to me. So just wait. P-Dog Knight, what the hell is Pacific time? Well, it's the best time because left coast is the best coast. That's what that is. Cougar Knife, got here late, but your soothing voices got me through my nightly poop. So I thank you, gentlemen. Well, we are glad to have had such a positive effect on your bowels.
Yeah.
Septus Wolf, Mad Libs. Yeah, here's the thing about Mad Libs when you only have two people. It doesn't really work. The variety kind of drops. I mean, I suppose I could just put more leverage on chat for more spots on the Mad Lib. But I might save Mad Libs for nights where we have guests or something. That might make more sense. So we'll see. Again, there's nothing is quite off the table yet as far as what may or may not happen with format and the show and so on. And whether we keep to a strict format in the future, who knows? We'll see. But everybody, by the time I finish this, we'll be at the top of the hour and thus the end of the show. So are you doing anything after this on your various gaming channels, Satsu?
I'm probably just going to finish editing because I want to make sure that these videos are done, because if I get them done tonight, I will have all day tomorrow to do whatever the fuck I want. So.
Oh, boy. Well, in that vein, guys, the links to all of Satsu's channels are in the description below. Especially pay attention to Satsu's cooking channel. Just reached 1,000 subscribers. Now working towards the threshold of 4,000 viewed hours. Last I knew, you were about just under 3,000. So more watch time is always appreciated. Take a look at his cooking videos. There's some good stuff in there, including a recipe that my mother passed along to me at one point for chicken divan, which Satsu kind of corrupted it using Miracle Whip instead of real mayonnaise, but that's his choice if he chooses to do that. But anyway, yeah. Well,
I don't buy regular mayo.
Yeah, well, you're just evil. Anyway, as for myself, I do not plan on doing anything special in the next day or two, but if I do, you will know by our Twitters. So check out our Twitter accounts. Handles are in the description as well. But all that being said, remember tomorrow night, guys, it is Friday, but with the new schedule, we are on Satsu's channel. So check that out. I will use Satsu on Friday night and then me again on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, per usual. And also check out P-Dog Night's show, the Morning Night Live, over on his channel tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time, the best time, all the time. Everyone, thank you again for joining us. You guys are really the best audience in the world. Thank you so much for supporting us during this transitionary period. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I kind of skipped my usual routine. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though our audience is so well behaved, you have very little to do. Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Yep.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. I mean, fuck off.
And per usual, got my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism. And today's secret word is feet.
Oh, boy.
Context clues, but today's secret word is feet. And that's F-E-E-T, not F-E-A-T, which is also a possible. But there you go. Imagine what you will.